Hi everyone, welcome again. So in this video, we will see how to set up some kind of dependency between beans. We know that beans are eagerly initialized by Spring context. So we want to set up that dependency at that point of time in terms of class loading. So let's see, what do I mean by that? Here we have a class user DAO, user service and request handler. And all these classes are being initialized by the Spring context, that server startup. Now to track the loading part, what I have done, I have added the constructor with a single log message. So whenever these classes are being initialized, we get the message on the console. All right. Now, if we run the main program, we see these messages on the console. So as soon as the application context gets initialized, the classes are being initialized as well. And we see the log messages from the constructors on the console. So that is fine. But let's say there is a kind of dependency between user DAO, this one, and request handler. So what we want request handler to be initialized first and then user DAO. Maybe request handler is doing something on which user DAO is dependent. So we want this kind of dependency. We want request handler to be initialized first and then user DAO in that order. So how do we define that order? In Spring, there is an annotation for that, which is called depends on. So if we use this annotation, it means we are setting up a dependency between the beans. So we say user DAO is dependent on request handler. In that case, we will use depends on annotation on the user DAO. And then we need to pass the ID of bean on which this class is dependent, which is request handler. And how do we pass the ID? We convert the class name into camel case, because that is what Spring automatically does. So each class has its own ID if not provided explicitly. And for that, what Spring will do, it converts the class name to camel case. So for example, in this case, user DAO will have an ID, something like this. And so we are using the ID request handler. And now we are saying that this class is dependent on the request handler. So please initialize request handler first and then me. And now if we run the same program again, so we see request handler being initialized first, then user DAO, and user service is independent of this dependency. So it's just a coincidence that we see this message at last. But the important thing to note is the order of these two beans, request handler first and then user DAO. So in this video, we saw how to set up dependencies between beans using depends on annotation. Thanks for watching.